So yeah, I mean, we can start whenever we're ready to start. I mean, we're here, we're back, we're actually all,
and we're 2 meters apart.
Yeah, we're 2 meters apart, so that's why the sound should be okay.
Sounds crisp.
And as these things, as you do, start to then have traditions, as is now tradition with the Good Roundup. Chris, I believe you have.
Oh, the joke.
A joke. So pray silence.
Is this officially the pre-pod?
Well,
yeah, I think we're in it.
We're in it.
You're right, and I've got another one. I've actually got two, and one of them was supplied by someone. He knows who he is. You know how with COVID, lots of live sports been cut off the TV.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, there is one event that's still on.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, there's a live event, they're covering of the World Origami Championships.
Mm-hmm.
The only problem is it's on pay-per-view.
Welcome to the Good Roundup. Good is a brand consultancy based in the UK, and from time to time we get together and chat about brand and things and COVID and all sorts of stuff. And I'm joined as ever by Chris Lumpkin, founding partner of Good,
Pay-per-view,
and with Julie Murdoch, managing director of Good.
Hello.
So so that, how'd you follow that, Julie?
I don't know. I mean, such a seamless start.
I know, it was good. We felt lovely.
Well, we're a bit rusty.
We should go back to sitting in our own houses and doing.
No,
they were much
shouldn't.
No. So we are all together socially distancing and being 2 meters apart, and it's quite nice to see you. Well, no, it's very nice to see you both. Not quite nice. It's a joy, a treat.
Indeed, likewise.
It's a great thing. So, but we're all just here, and so what have we been up to? Because it's been about a month since we've actually done one of these.
Since
it's
now.
been longer. Yeah.
Oh, Nat Mayer was the last, wasn't she?
Yep.
Nightmare.
No, Nat
Oh,
Mayer.
nightmare. We've
What have we
been
been
at
up
home.
Mm-hmm.
I've been at home. Where have you been?
We've been home.
Stuart?
We've all been at home.
I've been at home.
But we've had quite a lot on. We've got still some of the team furloughed, quite a few of the team furloughed, to be fair. Things have been reasonably quiet, I would say, over the last couple of months, but we're starting to see signs of things picking up again.
Yeah, I feel kind of reasonably optimistic about stuff.
Just even the last week or so, new briefs coming in, a couple of new business things in the pipeline, clients coming back online again.
Hoping that we've maybe seen the bottom out for the business, and it might crawl back slowly.
Well, we're bringing people back from furlough.
It's always a good thing.
That's a positive. So that is a positive.
And the economy's kind of slowly opening up a bit.
Mm-hmm.
We're allowed to sit outside cafes next week.
Are we?
18th of June, yeah.
Oh wow!
Is that let's get to the.
But we're nowhere near pubs opening. I mean,
well,
beer
cafe,
gardens.
bars and restaurants, yeah, as of next week. As long as I've got an outdoor space and socially distancing measures in place, then that is from next week. And we can sit inside each other's houses.
Well, that's almost a pub.
With a bit of luck, I'll actually be allowed to sit inside my own house, because that's been something I've been told to kind of leave and go for a long walk, exercise your right to exercise.
More than once a day.
Fire on.
As many times a day as you like.
Be gone.
Yeah, and do we think clients are doing more or a bit more resigned to just getting on with it?
Yeah, I think there's a few. Well, there's certainly a few that are still either on shorter weeks. A couple of our US clients are still on 4-day weeks. And there's one or two that have a few people furloughed as well. So I think it's not necessarily that work is going, the work that is in, I think, is taking longer to deliver because of pressures on the client side with reduced teams and things. So it's it's a sort of twofold thing.
Yeah, I would say that there's clients looking at autumn and just, so it's not necessarily spend for now, but planning now to spend later, which is, at least that's encouraging. We had a meeting earlier on with a client about that, and a couple of other clients that I've been talking to are kind of going, what are we going to do September? And that's kind of interesting for what are we going to be like? So no, it's kind of, it's life goes on. It's now not, it's been a season we've been in lockdown. It's not, if you look at it like that.
Yeah, it feels like it's kind of normalised a bit. Yeah.
Sure is. And then, of course, we've just been working on the business and writing articles and doing this and this and all
various
that kind of stuff.
And you wrote an article, Stuart, which was worthy of discussion.
Yeah, that's
Oh my,
seamless.
that is-
No, that is seamless.
That was good.
Well, Stuart, we had this conversation bouncing around about people wanting to run before they can walk and all that.
Do you know what rips my knitting?
What is it, Stuart?
What rips my knitting is if I see one more webinar about how to prepare, and I think that there's a lot, and the article, I'll leave a note in the show notes, was basically around the fact that there is a lot of how to prepare for the new normal to almost to the point where actually you're forgetting the basics of what your job is. And I think actually going back to basics will prepare you just as well, if not better, than trying to recreate something, because we don't know what it's going to be like. You hit a second wave, you know, and again with political turmoil is thrown into the mix as well, you just don't know what's going to happen. So why on earth would you start trying to recreate and redefine basic standard brand marketing rules for something that you don't know? So it's actually just about making sure your basics are right so that you can adapt quickly and change to deal with the new normal.
Do you think that, because we've all talked about these webinars and we've all sat on them and some of them are more useful than others, but do you think it's just a rush to join the noise, to say something?
Probably. Well, yeah, and I think there's this notion that, depending on what you read, that everything, you know, everything is going to change post-COVID, and in reality, most things are going to go back to how they were before at some point. I believe. Yeah, I think it probably is that. It's a rush to just have an opinion.
Yeah, and I think I was on a webinar, and the output of the end of it was that brands should be authentic and true to themselves. I'm fucking
Write that down.
Right, that's genius.
I think that is the issue, that you very quickly, once you rub beneath the surface, the detail is fairly self-evident and obvious.
What's important is the same as what's always been important in terms of...
Oh yeah, what you've got to do is live to your values.
What you've got to do, Stuart, is listen to your customers.
Good. Wow.
and I'm sitting there and I'm ripping my knitting, and it's kind of going, actually, who's doing a webinar on just remember how to build a brand campaign and remember where brand fits within.
Yeah, so talk us through what you talked about in your article.
It's better if you read it, to be honest, because I'm not very good. It
was talking a bit about the long and the short, though, wasn't it? Yeah, and not forgetting the importance of the overarching brand level messaging to complement the tactical campaign focused stuff, and how those two work together to build a stronger brand.
Yeah, you say it better than I do, Julie. And and it was kind of inspired by a client. She knows who she is, who I was talking to about this, and what do we do? And there's they sell things, so there's a kind of rush to selling things, but is it going to be selling things in the right time at the right place? And just going, look, you need this just to get your head around it. You just remember the basics. Don't worry about what's going to happen in October, November. If you've got the fundamentals ready, you'll be ready. And that's what we talked about. And it was a good chat and trying to help her out. And
were they involved in talking about, were they here for us during the COVID crisis?
I think they were, yeah.
That's one of the issues, isn't it? The virtue signalling stuff, which has got worse given the Black Lives Matter stuff as well, causing a storm. It is funny because I know there's a difference between, being mindful of the context of the virus or the crisis and then trying to jump into the middle of it and leverage your brand by, I guess, overplaying your hand in terms of what the brand means or what you think your brand means to your customer base. Customers don't care. It's kind of where we're at.
But I think also the interesting thing when you talk about, authenticity is one of these blisteringly obvious things that you need to be as a brand. But, I think the interesting thing with something like this situation and how brands need to react and respond is that how easy is it to live up to those values that you proclaim to have? And I think there's definitely an interesting thing on I was thinking about it yesterday on an EV from an employee value prop side of things, or from an internal team point of view. A lot of the things that you profess to be as a brand in a business, how easy is that to bring to life when you've got dispersed teams, and actually how many of those learnings will you kind of retain and live and improve on when potentially people do come back together again? Is it as easy to live your values as you think it is when times are good?
And I think that's part of the problem with the whole, with messaging, be it COVID or Black Lives Matter, is that while I agree customers don't care, the problem is the internal customer cares. And somebody's going, we need to do something. And
Yes,
the perception is...
Yeah,
if
we've
we
got to
don't-
be out there saying something.
Yeah, because what will happen is with cancel culture, if we don't say something, we'll be called out. And if we do say something, we might be
It's
called
lose,
out.
Yeah.
lose, isn't
And
it?
I think there's the thing, if customers will care about, if it's, will care if it's something that affects them. So I was reading a thing yesterday, it was an Adobe article actually, and it was talking about how travel brands and airlines have reacted with flexibility around their cancellation policies and their rebooking policies and things like that, and reevaluating the way that they deliver value to customers. And I think that, that if you're Delta taking a stance on, or talking to your customers about how you're helping give them flexibility and rebooking their flights when they don't know when or where they're going to be able to fly. Yes, there's a value in talking about the COVID situation, but if it's just about making a blanket statement about how you're there to support your customers throughout the time, what's that actually
No shit, yeah.
doing? Yeah.
Is there, I have this constant thing about, not even from our client's point of view, but from our point of view, and doing this kind of stuff, is there, unless you've got something important to say or valuable to say or unique value to add, is there anything wrong with just saying nothing or just focusing on what it is that you do? Because, the moment you open your mouth, you'll either leave yourself wide open to ridicule if you say things like, what's important, think about your customers, or unless you're bulletproof when it comes to stuff like, some of the equality stuff, whether it's, the stuff we talked about with Nat or the Black Lives Matter stuff, and unless you're bulletproof, then you can be leaving yourself home to some, uncomfortable scrutiny. So is there anything wrong with kind of just keeping quiet?
Well, this is, we're verging into a different territory here, I think. I think there's
Is that a whole other podcast?
Well, yeah, I think it probably is. And because in some instances, no, I don't think there is anything wrong with saying nothing or remaining silent. I think there is this kind of rush to feel that you need to make a statement and demonstrate your position on something. But at the same time, there's an argument to say that saying nothing, you then become implicit in, as part of the problem. So
I think it would be better if you were doing something rather than saying
something.
I think that's the challenge that
And
we're
not,
facing at the moment.
just getting on and doing it.
So to Julie's point about COVID, it's, we are doing this to help you be better. With Black Lives Matter, it's, when Apple, I think it was Mark Ritson who put up the Apple statement next to the
board of
the
directors,
board of directors, and kind of going, well, of course you're going to, and what right-minded individual isn't going to say that? But what are you going to do? And I think that's the challenge is
The
kind
issue,
of raising your game a bit, and that's what it should be doing. It should be raising
behaviours rather than talk.
Absolutely. So yeah. So I mean, the other kind of thing about webinars that again rips my knitting is that you've kind of got to be, when you're actually carving a bit of time out during your day to sit for an hour to be told brands have got to be authentic. It's,
it's underwhelming, isn't it?
It's insulting, because it's kind of going, no, that's not really, and it just kind of annoys me. So I mean, I think that, and this is why, dare I say, and obviously I'm going to say this is why I prefer the podcast format, because you can listen to it in your own time, and it is more of a discussion because we don't necessarily have all the answers. We've got most of them, but I like to think. But I think it's kind of that's the
rather
thing
than preaching at you about how authenticity is important
and showing you another deck of slides to go. And the main takeaway of this is
you should advertise through a recession.
Yeah, or you should. We have said that. Well, I think that, but also
we've said it. We've not preached it.
No, true. I think there's also because there's also the same basic principles of thinking about what your offer is, making sure it's differentiated, and figuring out how you're going to clearly communicate it to your customers. All those things are still the same, and I think the whole and thinking about there's the media landscape. Yes, media is cheap. It's a good time to invest, arguably. But then you look at, and this is something you've preached about in the past year, is about what role brands should play in social channels. And there's lots of stats about social usage and social media consumption and how that's rocketed through the COVID period. And it's like, well, does that necessarily mean that that's where someone wants to learn about your brand?
Well, interesting you say that, Jill, because we're with one client in particular, their social click-throughs have gone up quite considerably, but conversion's gone down dramatically.
Really?
And that's because you've actually there's more people just doing scrolly on Facebook. Whereas normally they wouldn't be doing it during the day. There would be the peaks, everything else. They're doing it all the time, so there's more ads being shown,
consumed.
But actually, nobody's really that interested. So its effectiveness is. This is about a month ago, and it's kind of normalizing a little bit now. But the effectiveness of social, which I've got a thing about anyway, but the effectiveness of social is not really. Is not as good as it should be.
So it's not necessarily an enhanced medium. It's just busier.
It might be busier, and there's more people.
People are consuming more of the channel, but they're not necessarily
acting.
Yeah.
Or if they are clicking on, they're not really that bothered.
But they're not engaged with it. They're not any more engaged in it.
They've probably seen the ad 20 times as opposed to 10 times, and they're just bored, and so they're going to click on it and see, but they've not really any interest in theory.
I have done quite a lot more shopping, to be fair, via Instagram ads personally.
Really? Well, that shit works.
It does work.
So that's, I guess, your point about back to, it's not chasing the trend and thinking that that's a panacea. It's about, well, let's go back to the basics of what are we trying to do?
Yep.
How do we tie that to a commercial goal, and what tactics and tools do we use to deliver that? Whether it's social or not.
And if you're taking a test and learn approach, which we talk about a lot, then fine, dabble with the increased use of social, but understand what you want it to deliver and how you're going to measure and report on it. And if it's not working and it's not being effective, then try something else.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And I think the basics just isn't with that brand messaging thing. It's across the board. It's just kind of getting yourself ready. Now's a good time to test. Now's a good time to kind of look at brand architecture. It's all that kind of. It's all about getting yourself fighting fit for back, as opposed to.
I suppose when we talk about the basics, it's a good thing in any walk of life. And how often do you hear that advice? Whether it's in sport or learning, to play an instrument or whatever it is, or a language. If you get things wrong, you go back to basics. It's right. It's always right.
Yeah.
And so in our world, it's no different. The basics of building a brand are important. And we had a chat about this, let's be honest about the work that we do. Most of the work that we do with our clients is, it's not getting back to basics, it's doing the basics.
Yeah.
How many clients do we have that are so sophisticated that they don't need to think about the basics? Most of the work we do is saying, look, no, let's go back to how well defined is your brand? How strong are the foundations? How solid are they? How well are you pivoting messaging off that? How coherent is that? How consistent is that? What are the architecture issues? And, how do you select and refine and execute brilliantly clear assets? That's a lot of what we do. So it's good advice, whether there's COVID or no COVID.
There was another something else I was reading the other day that was talking about. It's a guy, Brian Solis, I don't know if he's some digital analyst, that was talking about data-driven empathy, and that was around this kind of learning and unlearning, and then innovating a way in terms of the best way to go forward, which I think is quite. But it's maybe more relevant now than is it? Is it any more relevant now than in a any other period of time, potentially, because obviously consumer trends and consumer behaviour is changing quicker than it would do ordinarily. But that kind of basis of, it's about learning and understanding your customers, isn't it? It's not any different, more or less important now than any other time.
Do you think it's different? And we've had various chats around this. Do you think it's different in the B2B world and the B2C world? Because I personally, I think there is a bit of a gap. I don't think that typically in the B2B world that the brand assets or the brand elements have maybe not had the same consideration that they have had in B2C, which is maybe sometimes a good thing because they've not been overly thought or researched or processed beyond any sense of comprehension. But I think that that's an interesting space.
Well, I think we all agree in this room that. The thing you always hear with B2B companies when you talk to them is, but it's different with us.
Yeah.
And it's not.
No.
It never is. It's like on your own, you're saying that to add complexity into something that makes it unique and ownable, and also to justify and put up a blocker for change. What you don't understand is we are different. And we had that in a meeting last year, and it was kind of but are you? And is that, are you really? And let's have a look at that and let's take it back. And I think that's where B2B kind of like to say that it is different. And
this is a complicated sale.
And it's really, but at the same time, people are people. And
principles, basics.
And it's like people are buying on Amazon at the same time as they're buying a piece of kit at the same time and want the same.
Yes, you're right. You're so right.
All over the thing, and it's kind of it's just added to make it a bit more mystical, especially dare I say our friends in the sales department.
Focus on the consumer and the human behavior, and human behavior is the same.
Yeah,
humans are humans. We've been like this for a long time, and we'll continue to be like this. I think
And the thing that's changed, as we know, is that customer journey, which is the buyer of the service. And then this is the same, again, B2B, B2C is now so well educated to the point of purchase. So they'll be doing all the research, all this, all that, and everything else. And it's at that point of purchase. You're going into John Lewis or another department or going to the big B2B manufacturing company, trying to be as educated as you possibly can to make sure you're getting the best deal you possibly can. And that's the thing that's maybe changed, that sometimes the B2B, they still think it starts with the guy phoning up and going, hey, how you doing? And actually, by the time that somebody's interested, they're going to be doing a lot more legwork. So that's why your digital channel's got to be up to speed, because you're competing with everybody else. All the usual.
I was going to say, when you talk about that kind of the See Think Do framework in terms of messaging and content, and that education level content being really important in terms of where and when it appears, so that you're giving people that you're not necessarily expecting them to jump off that and go and click a button that says I'm going to purchase X, Y, or Z, but you want them to make that accessible.
70% of all B2B sales go to the first company that was useful.
Helpful. I always ask you to reference that and credit it. Where's that from?
Can't remember.
Good. You make it up?
I didn't make it. How dare you? It's in a presentation.
I'm sure you said 74%.
I think 74%.
It's been 72, 73, 74. Stuart did come from it was referenced somewhere, what he's done is he's forgotten where it's from.
It's in a presentation.
Because I'm a stickler for that.
And you're absolutely right to be a stickler from. I know where I've written it down. I just don't know what I've written down. That's two different things.
But it's about a brand's role in being useful and helpful at the appropriate point in the customer journey.
Yes, thanks, Julie.
Yeah.
Fucker.
Whether it's 72% or 74%, it's still fucking important.
What's the thing on the wall behind you? 80% of information about a brand, or what is it? 80% of all knowledge?
80% of brand buyers know a little or nothing about that brand.
Thank you.
So
I pinned that on the wall behind me just to keep us honest. Customers don't know anything about the brand. Mostly.
It's a framework for usefulness to run there.
There we go.
Well, that's, so that's been written away, and there's a whole lot of other articles that we'll be pushing out. The emails are back. I felt that it was useful to send out the emails, and the first one went out last month, for the first one in a few months, and we're getting back on the train in this a little bit more after a bit of a kind of crazy few weeks of just scenario planning and numbers and all that kind of thing. So
guests, we've had guests.
We love a guest, and
we're doing our next Counting the Gap event at the end of June.
Oh, really?
A virtual one. Yeah, spoke to Nat yesterday.
Oh,
it's going to be a national one. No, but with different chapters running their own event. It's about the issue. We touched on it actually on the pod. It's about the issue of confidence, getting business leaders and mentors to talk about their experience.
That'll be great. That's good. Oh, that's good.
That's the plan.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's good. Well, we've got to talk about pubs opening because people love that.
Oh,
so at least.
Well, I've blown it.
Yeah.
I mean,
when were you beginning?
You had the 30th of June.
May.
Oh, May. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I picked the 1st of June.
That Thursday. Yeah.
I picked the 1st of June. Although, to be fair, I was also then reading a thing the other day. I wasn't reading a thing. It was a meme. But it basically said...
See, that's telling. That's telling.
That's my social media consumption right there.
Thanks, TikTok.
Exactly.
Reading. Oh, it's a meme.
It was a meme about... I'm hoping that they're going to introduce free pour measures in pubs when they're back, because my home pour measures are... My body's used to home pouring now, not pub measures. So
I think I've actually drunk less in the lockdown than I would have done otherwise.
No, you haven't.
You don't think?
No.
I think. Well, how do you know?
Because you're steaming.
Because you're not... Every time I talk, you're totally steaming. Maybe recently, but when we first went into lockdown, you were drinking every day.
I suppose. You're right. Then I came to my senses.
But to be fair, I think everybody was like that. 'Cause
I know,
it
I
just
don't
felt like
like this.
Christmas. It was just like, well, it's Boxing Day every day.
Got a long lie every day.
Oh man, it's magic. It was good.
Extra-
But I'm off it. I'm only drinking one can a night. No, I'm
Well,
not.
we've noticed a real fall off in the attendance of the drinks on a Friday
Friday.
afternoon. You know,
Yeah, you know.
I know. Well, I think because people have been busier as well.
So
But-
yeah. So that's it. So no, we're going to be doing a wee bit more because we're in. It looks like every Wednesday now, just to say hi and
Get some face-to-face time.
time, and then and then we're doing that.
Oh, I miss you too.
So we're doing that, and then we're going to do one of these a week and get back on it.
This has been fun. Anything we need to sum up on? No, we've not really kind of wandered off. No, never
it's
mind.
been meandering but fun.
Aye, fine. Don't forget the basics, people.
Oh, remember the 3 stars? Keep.
What the 3 stars?
Are we beyond 3 stars, Stuart?
No. I think somebody did give us a 1-star review.
Oh, good. Was that an ironic 1-star review,
I
or
don't
just
know.
this is utter mint?
Look, we enjoy ourselves. That's the
Yeah.
main thing.
I know what you're going to do. It's we're not asking you to sit down at 12:30 to be told at the end of something. Listen to your customers. Do you know what I mean?
Listen,
So,
I've had at least 1 or 2 people telling me that they enjoy listening to the podcast.
At least 1 or 2. And do they both live in the same house as you? Or?
No, one of them does.
all right,
Play the music, Stuart.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.